Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, to Global Impromptu Speaking Session number 222nd. Thank you so much for joining in today. As you can feel from the number, we've been meeting regularly, and now we are going to achieve 222nd session. And we started somewhere about in April 2020. And that was the reason of locking us down. When we were locked down, we started meeting online. And today this is the result, and we have become better communicators. We are improving every single day. We have become better imprompters, or you can say who can speak impromptu properly, who can speak properly impromptu. Because life is all about impromptu speaking, because we cannot plan what will happen in next moment. So ladies and gentlemen, today our topics master is Toastmaster Usha, all the way from India. And I wish you all happy Diwali, whosoever is celebrating. Who is celebrating today? Nitri, are you? All right. So without sweet, actually, I don't wish, but anyways, today I'm wishing you all. Is pending to you, pending from your side. Ladies and gentlemen, in this session, you will be speaking for 1 to 2 minutes. And for the rest of the session, you will be just observing silence and listening to other people, which is very important. With that, I will not take much of the time, but to call upon our topics master, our host of today's meeting, Toastmaster Usha. Let's welcome her. Usha, over to you.
Thank you so much, Amrit sir, and welcome to all Global Impromptu family members. And we are seeing 2 new faces today. Welcome to our group. And thank you so much for this opportunity. This is my second table topic after joining this Global Impromptu. I'm glad for that. So today, our word of the day, camaraderie. Camaraderie. I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing correct, sir. I'm just
yes, camaraderie.
Yeah. So so far the rule, everyone while you are giving the topic, try to use the word in it and try to accommodate that word. Okay, there you will get some bonus kind thing for that. It's great always to use word of the day. So that mean having a good friend or a good colleague or long term who has been with us in all our journey, kind of like it's good or bad or anywhere. So having it had a very positive impact that created to me to get a camaraderie among the team when I'm joined as a fresh. Okay.
Okay, yeah. You are audible.
Yeah. That's really till today. It's been now 14 years, but I never forget the first boss who guided me in all the way. So try to use the word and let us start. Since I'm seeing the new faces, we start with who come in first. But since I'm seeing some new faces, we'll start with the the old persons who are already been here. So Sherman sir, let us start with you. Are you ready?
Yes. Okay, madam.
Okay, thank you so much. So your topic, what makes you think a person is trustworthy? What makes you think a person is trustworthy?
Yeah.
Sherman sir.
Madam Topic Master and Global Friends, I can judge the person's behavior, the way he talks, the way he smiles also, you can judge. Some people have this fake smile, just not coming from your bottom of heart. And also, if you give a small job, also you can judge the person whether he is honest or he's backstabbing person. He's not having the real camaraderie. And also we are expecting I think in my time, I can say younger days, we had a lot of trusted the friends and the people or the relatives. Now time has passed some time, and we can't expect the same things happen in the past, because of the people all are running a rat race, and also doing within short period they're expecting to getting rich or earn some money. Not like those days. The people with those days, actually, number of the 2-3 decades ago, people are real workers. Even the government servants also, I can see, I have felt, I know some people, they did a very honest job. Now nowadays, people try to overtake others and try to imitate other people, what they do, and try to earn quick buck. It's called quick buck, and they are not. That's depend on the caliber of people and their credibility. Also, we can understand, and also reliability is not that. Even the people who are your co-worker or the people who are working with you can judge, and they are not reliable. Some are there. Some good people also there, that coming from your family background and also your association. Over to you, Madam Topic Master.
Great take, Sridman sir. True. That's it. Depends on each and individual what they face in their life, right? When we meet someone new, how to trust them. Mostly when we are in our career, or when we are in the big groups, trust is something like the way they speak, the way, as you said, the smile. With that, we always try to catch what kind of persons they are and how far we can trust them. That's very important in one's life. Thank you so much. A great take, sir. Next, Netri Premnath. Are you ready, ma'am? Okay.
Yes, madam.
Okay. Your topic: how does tone of voice influence how you respond to someone? How does tone of voice influence how to respond to someone?
Have you ever been to a funeral and heard someone say, deeper sympathy? Have you ever heard that? Topic master, ladies and gentlemen. The tone of voice, I feel, is the most important thing when speaking something important to a person. Especially in funerals, have you ever seen people speaking with an excited or a happy tone? People do not, because it is not appropriate to use that kind of tone while during a funeral. But in case you go to a birthday party, do you go ahead and say, happy birthday? No, instead you will be so excited and happy for that person who is celebrating their birthday. So I feel like when speaking to other people, the tone of voice plays a major role in showing your emotions and what you are putting across. For example, let me take this instant while I'm speaking to you all. Imagine if I go ahead and speak like, okay, so I am going to, would you all be willing to listen to me? Would you all rather listen to some news on the television? That's how boring that will be, right? So the tone of voice matters in putting across your opinions to attract people in the crowd, to make them listen to you. If you do not give importance to your tone of voice, we are not even sure that the other person gets what you're speaking. Then what is the point of speaking even? So the next time you speak to a person, be vocal about it. But not only that, remember to use your tone of voice appropriately. Over to you, topic master.
Your tone itself is telling like now what it is, right? Great take. Our next table master, Denisha ma'am. Denisha ma'am.
Yes, Toastmaster Usha.
Yes. Your topic. What thing did you ever have to do that turned out to be extremely good for you? What thing did you ever had that turned out to be extremely good for you?
Thank you for the topic, Toastmaster Usha. Good evening to you all Global Impromptu family members. The thing extremely good for me is the change in my attitude towards to respond to some irritating mm, irritating responses. From my childhood, I was very aggressive. Actually, yeah, my cousins say highly inflammable for me. So it was like that because I do not bother anybody else and I do all my work alone. So I don't want other people to disturb my thing. So when they disturb me, I got angry. And that comes from my childhood to my adulthood. Once I started a married life, so it went worse. And after I have a child, I had to tolerate the things. So, after that, I had nothing other than to tolerate and do whatever to adjust accordingly. So with time, I changed. I think now I have a somewhat good patience, and that makes me actually a very tranquil, calm environment in my house and very calm mind. So I feel happy, and also my family members also feel happy. So that I think is the greatest turn on in my uh, things. Over to you, Toastmaster Usha.
Great take, Tanisha ma'am. Yes, sometimes we don't know. Some like that we try to do something, but it turns to us like very good favored kind of things, right? And it's really great, and we never forget those things in our life. Okay, our next table master. May I know Kuratulin? Am I spelling correct?
It's actually Kuratulen.
Kuratulin. Yes, dear. Your topic. What is the most important lesson you have learned so far? How it helps you?
Thank
What
you,
is the most
Toastmaster.
important lesson you learned? How it's helped you?
Thank you, Toastmaster Usha. The most important lesson that I've learned so far in my life is not attach your happiness with material things in life, because we all, as we grow up, we tend to attach a happiness to certain milestones, that when I'm going to turn 15, I'll achieve this by then, and that will just sort out my life and everything will be fine, totally okay. And you spend a lot of time just sulking and just thinking about what could future. You don't stay in the present. Then as you grow up, then you think about when you be 20, you achieve a certain milestone which will make your life much better. When I get this job, maybe everything will turn out fine. My finances, every in my life will be sorted, and I'll be able to travel and go to places. But the thing is, as soon as we achieve that milestone, our happiness lasts, but it lasts for certain moment only. And after that, life is all about challenges. It's all about difficulties and how you stay firm and happy in face of those challenges. So the most important lesson that I've learned is that to stay in present and enjoy every moment, because I used to think that the moment I get the job, everything will be fine. But when I got the job, there were certain challenges that I had to face in that job at my workplace. And just that, and I started regretting why I joined that place. So that made me realize that we shouldn't attach our happiness to to material things. Just stay in the present and enjoy every moment. Take Just sit down and absorb what is going around you. Stay content, because happiness is not in, you can't find happiness in bigger material things. It's all about how you enjoy the little moments. Thank you.
Great take. Yes, we should not, club our happiness with the material things. It's really great topic and true. Like whenever, if there is good thing, obviously there is a bad thing behind that. But when we compare or when we balance things, whichever is taking a more weightage, that obviously we take in, that is the right thing, right? But if there is a game, obviously win and lose, both are there in the game. This part of the game, we always take win happy and walk out. But if it is lose, that is nothing but a lesson to us to learn something out of that and to implement further when we attend again the next game, right? Great taken. Okay, the next topic, master. Dushen,
Yeah,
are you there?
yeah.
Dushen. Okay, your topic: how to disagree with someone respectfully without saying no. How to disagree with someone respectfully without saying no.
I have a hard time in saying no to people. I would always go saying yes to whatever they say. Because I think I come from a culture where they believe it is disrespectful to say no to anyone. Table topic master, ladies and gentlemen. But it took me some time to think to myself, should I really burden myself with all these things, all the tasks they are giving me? Should I always say yes? Why couldn't it be a no? Then I listened to this motivational speaker. He once stated that it is okay to say no. Even though some people may take it as a disrespect, I think the best thing we could do is to ask ourselves if we actually have the time to do this. Are we really going to do it? Is this a task that I can fulfill? If so, we could say yes. And if not, I think the best option we could do is to say no. Because rather than just going through it and doing some incomplete work, I think then the person will get a chance to find someone else who can perform the task even better. So at that moment, I learned to say no to things and prioritize my work. And since then, I realized that life has become a little more easier for me. Whatever I say yes to, whatever task, if I say yes, I'll be giving my best to it. I'll be doing it in the best form I could, and my full potential is used to that. And I'm not worrying about overloaded tasks. Oh God, I have to do this, I will have to multitask. Though people are embracing multitasking, I think that is not what we should actually be doing. We should be focused on whatever we are doing at the point and get it done first. So in that sense, I think it is okay to disagree with someone, and we should do it in a really respectful way by giving our opinion, and it shouldn't be an excuse, but if we explain to them why it should be like this, I think we can disagree to them in a very respectful manner, and that will be a good thing for them as well. Yeah, over to you, table topic master.
Yes, great take. True. When we say no, obviously it's kind of a negative impact. But yes, when we say respectfully saying no and the reason why it is, if you explain, obviously everyone will take that no easily, and they think about that why we are saying no, when we convey that in respectful manner with the proper, why we are saying that. Thank you so much. And our next Toastmaster, Omar Farooq, are you there?
Yes, Susha, I am here. How are you?
Good. Thank you.
I will not be able to turn on the video, so I will be there.
Okay. Your topic: 3 ways to stand up for yourself. Tell us 3 ways to stand up for yourself.
3 ways to stand up for yourself. 3 ways to stand up for yourself. There is only first way is to believe in yourself. Believe in what you are going to do in your life. What are your goals? Secondly, to believe in the person that you want to become, means your goals. First of all, you have to believe in yourself. Secondly, you have to believe in the person that you want to become. That is your goals. Thirdly, what is your motive behind what you are going to do? So if your motive is to get maybe rich, to do these things and all that, so you have to clarify your objectives. And if your objectives are not clarified, you will have a directionless life, where you want to go, whether you are growing in the right direction or in the wrong direction. So it's all about that. So stand for your values, what you believe in. Stand for the person you want to become, your goals, and stand for the motives, your objectives. Because all these 3 things are connected. I will tell you how. If what you believe in, if what your values are, you will try to apply all those things in achieving your goals, your objectives. Thirdly, what are your intentions behind it? And these are driven by your values. So all 3 things are connected, and all these things are the things that you have to stand up for. At the end of the day, it's all about your growth and the people that are around you, your loved ones. What are you going to do for them? What are you going to do for yourself? Are you doing enough for yourself and for the people that are around you? Are you standing up for the right things in life, your values? For example, you believe in truth, but you are living a life of a lie. You wanted to be in a job that you love, but you are not doing that. You wanted to be an engineer, you are a doctor, and you believe in truth. So you are conflicting. So at the end of the day, amplify your strengths, focus on your values, your strengths, and strive to become the person you meant to be, and always have pure and good intentions. Over to you, Tabitha.
Great take, sir. It's really true. One should believe in themselves and try to live the way what they are, right? Our next topic master, Arshad, your topic:
Yes, ma'am.
living for the weekend. What does that mean to you? Living for the weekend. What does that mean to you?
That means freedom for me, in my opinion. Back in January 2021, when we all kickstarted this year, I was in this position of waiting for the weekend because I used to watch a comedy show that goes on TV in India, and I wait for the weekend. I start watching the promo videos from Thursday, and I wait to watch. The purpose is to laugh and to live my weekend. And when it approaches to the Sunday, I start hating my life. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you. That was how I started this year. Now, generally, it was all okay for me because by Thursday, I look forward to the promos to start laughing. And I watch these episodes online and I keep laughing and I keep watching them again and again and again. And my quest was for laughter and for freedom. But I was just re-evaluating the bigger purpose. And when I looked at myself, I understood the fact that looking for the weekend is not a sustainable approach for existence. It is just an end of what you want to do in life. That is when I understood I wasn't doing what I want to do. Therefore, there's a lot of pressure in me, and I look forward for Friday. And from the trade that I come from, advertising and marketing, you have to be on call 24/7 whenever you call. That is fine. You have to work on a weekend. I am all ready. But the pressure you go through and this need of waiting for a weekend never works out. And suddenly the program was over in the month of April, and I was looking for laughter. And I got a lot of things to replace and to give me laughter. But that is when I understood, ladies and gentlemen, inner peace or satisfaction has to come within. And do I wait for a weekend? No, I don't have to wait for any weekend. Even amidst a busy, chaotic working Monday, I still can survive. And that is what I learned last month. After a few conversations with the good friends, I've understood the purpose. It is not looking for the right moment. It is not looking for happiness. It is finding happiness within you. If you are waiting for it, just walk in streets. Not for some of you all, people living in the Asian countries like India, Sri Lanka, you see the paupers and the poor people living, you will see them still happily enjoying their meal. But you will also see the people sitting inside 5-star hotels and thinking what is going to happen tomorrow. So it is a choice. And I am not living for the weekend, Toastmaster Shah. What about you? Over to you.
Exactly. 100% agree. Myself also. I never wait for the weekend. When I feel like something to do to relax myself, yes, I will take a call immediately there and then. It comes, from mind to body. Weekend is maybe for the relaxation physically, to take a rest. If at all, if it is not possible, do in some other way, whenever it is possible. Don't wait for the weekend. It's even my take. Great take, Arshad. Our next topic master, Seema. Seema, are you there? Seema. Seema, can you just check your audio once?
Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes. Can you turn on your camera?
No, I'm not able to turn the camera because I have to.
Okay, fine. Your topic, the happiest time you ever had. The happiest time you ever had.
Happiest time to ever had. So
Seema, we can't hear you. Maybe come near to mic or.
hello. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I will say every person has some kind of situation that he can happy or he can feel happy. So they definitely I have a time then when the expectation is you can say you are expecting something else and you got something else, then you will feel happiest moment in your life. So I will share one story with in front of all the persons that the one thing my friend and we are roaming around in my like BTech. I was doing BTech on that time. So we are roaming around and one all the players are playing and the competitions are going on uh, mm, my college, but I didn't take the participation over there. But my sir was saying ki, why you are not taking the part on that. So I take the part of the carom, and my friend was also playing with me, and she was opponent with me. Uh, so we played, and I just win on that time. So she was happy, but or I have a second round and just play with the second person. But on that time, I didn't get the support of anyone because nobody is supporting to me. And my friend is also left me on that time. But I just pray to God and just say to him that whatever the good for me, just do that. And definitely I lost the hope because I don't have any kind of thing. But I think what happened, I don't know. But I just won on that time. So I feel on the happiest moment of the life. So I think everyone don't feel sad if the happy movement is not coming. So definitely the God has made a one chance, and definitely He will give that you can happy in your life. So that's the thing that I can share. Over to you.
Great take, Seema. True. Should be always happy for whatever we go through, right? Yes, everything is a happy moment to us if you take it in right way. Thank you so much for your take. Our next table topic, Prachush.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, Prachush.
Yeah, apologies because I'm not able to turn my videos on today. It's a load shedding at my place.
Okay. Your topic is why apologizing is a good thing when you are wrong. Why apologizing is a good thing when you are wrong.
First of all, I will like to say that those of us who do not know the art of apologizing must know it. Yes, I have apologized many times, but I didn't know the art. So people didn't accept my apology. They used to say that yes, he is apologizing, but he does not mean it from the core of his heart. Thanks to 21st February 2021, when I got married, and I really understood that how to apologize properly. You are wrong or you are right. But this incident has taught me the art of apologizing properly. Even if I am right and I am apologizing, then you will feel that I must have done something wrong. Yes, I have developed that art within myself that I didn't used to have actually when I was single. Even my parents used to tell me that you are apologizing, but it does not comes out from your actions or your face while you are apologizing. But I will take this opportunity to thank my better half who have taught me this art of apologizing, whether I am right or whether I am wrong. But I have learned this art of apologizing, and I pray that all of us learn this art of apologizing, even if we are right in some conditions. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Prachush. It's really great that you gave really what is the meaning of apologizing. And true, when we know like we are wrong, from heart, try to accept it and give that apologizes. What's wrong in that? Nothing. When we know that we are wrong and we did something wrong, what's wrong in that to say that, right? That's really great take. Our next table topic, where all are done. I just saw someone who joined but left. Amjad sir. Amjad sir, are you there? I hope you only left. Not there. So, your topic, the best character in a book you read or movie you seen. The best character in a book you have read or a movie have seen. I'm just a topic for you.
All right. Thank you so much, Madam Topics Master. The best character I've ever read or watched in a movie. We all love positive characters, isn't it? Whosoever, even some faces we don't like, regardless of any gender. Some faces, we all indeed, being a human, we don't like some faces when we see them for the first time. And when we see them doing something good for society, whether in movie or in real life, we start loving them, isn't it? Whether they are not perfect personality, perfect character, perfect in beauty, but we love them. The reason is they do something good for people, they interact with you positively, they do something good for you, they give you a favor. And these positive characters are always loved by people. And the people who are very good in real life, sometimes when they play negative characters, we start hating them or disliking them. Forget the hateness, we start disliking them. So this is what I felt in my real life. We are biased people. When something is in our favor, we like it. When something is not in our favor, we dislike it. So I'm not special anymore. I do the same thing. When somebody does good thing, I like that person, I love that person, I appreciate that person. When that character does something wrong or harmed the humanity or the society, I start hating that person or disliking that person. So honestly speaking, in a particular manner, I don't really know right now the person or character I like or dislike, but any positive character, somebody in movie or in real life does something good for society or adding value to the society, I love that character. And that any character which is not favoring to the society or humanity, I'm not in favor of that character. So indeed, in nutshell, I would say, in conclusion, the positive character, wherever you see, I favor and I like that character only. Back to you, ma'am.
In our global in front of family, the character or the whatever I spoke about now, whatever the topic I give to this sir, is exactly fits to him. That's where the one character I like here, giving a positive things to all the team. Like, I mean, the global interrupt when I joined, because it's suggestion by Farida ma'am, she's not there here. When I joined the first session, I was so nervous. I don't want to come in front of the camera with two unknown people. My first session, if you watch it, no camera. I just watching everyone, how they are looking like. But the second session, when Amjad sir given the first speech and telling about what it is about and how to, I really impressed and I'm really got, okay, why to scare? Everyone is like me only. Each day when we talk, we get that confidence and we be very good. Now this is the 6th session for me and I'm second time taking the table topics. I can see. So the character or the person who I can introduce here from my end on this, sir. It's really great. Thank you so much for introducing me to this platform. I'm glad for that. So we have some more people joined now. So let's catch it. Dinesh Reddy.
Hi, Shaman. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Your topic, the hardest thing you have ever done. The hardest thing that you ever done.
Okay. Thank you so much, Table Topic Master, and very good evening, all the impromptu members, Global Impromptu Toastmasters channel members. Hardest thing I have done. I didn't remember any specific case that I have done. I feel that is the hardest thing. But if I take it in a bits and pieces, there are many things. If I consider that as we are in a Toastmaster International, and we know that we are giants for a specific reason. And as Usha also mentioning that she got the confidence after 1-2 meetings. And the same way, when I first joined the club, and they as a guest, they'll ask you to try and attempt any table topics, right? And it's not a virtual meeting when I joined the Toastmasters. It was just before the COVID. So I attended the meeting, and they asked for the guest if they want to volunteer. I didn't raise my hand because I was too nervous by seeing the topic. So I attended 2 meetings in the same way, but then they this time they picked the person who are not raising the hand, and so I had to go over there, and I attempted. But the thing is, next time I tried attempting it, even though I haven't spoke for much time. I hardly spoke anything. I got the courage. I thought, let's try to do it, and I went on the stage, and I spoke for 30 seconds that time, and that was the one thing that I can remember. And the same way with risking. There was one time where I had to choose the job, or I had to go to the next level examination to do the MBA. So I feel if I give the exam, and if I join some in the PG course, I will get the better chances, better opportunities. So I had to leave that job, and these are the things that I remember. Where some of the hardest things that I have taken. So yeah, over to you, Shaman.
Great take, Dinesh. Next table master, Munish Gupta.
Yes, please.
Your topic. What is the best time of the day for you? What is the best time of the day for you?
Good morning, everybody. What is the best time of the day for me? I run a newspaper, so it's my compulsion to sleep at 12 o'clock because the work goes on late night. Sometimes I have to sleep at 12:32, but I love to get up at 4 o'clock. Because at 4 o'clock when I get up, first I drink 4 glasses of water because my body is dehydrated, to hydrate my body. After that, I take my first meal of my day. Then I walk out like a beast for 2 hours. This process goes on till 9 o'clock. 4 to 9, that is the best time I enjoy. That is the best time I don't want to miss. When it rains also, rain generally ruins the day. I find some place where I can go and do exercise instead of sitting at home. Because I'm a teetotaler, the person who's a teetotaler, he doesn't have a evening life. The people, those who drink liquor, they go for parties in the evening because that is the only time I can go out and enjoy. And after doing vigorous exercise, so after that, I have to do stretching. That is the time. While stretching, I would speak to some of the people, and rest of the day, I have to keep myself busy. So I do not want to miss my morning, no matter what. I try my level best that out of 365 days, all 365 days, I should enjoy. Either I do work out like a beast. The day when I'm off, that day I go for a walk. That day I do not do vigorous exercise. But I don't miss. I don't stay at home. I don't lie down on bed. I come out of bed, whether it's a terribly cold or it's humid, but I love to spend that time out of my home, and I get an opportunity to mingle with people. Over to the Toastmaster, please.
Thank you so much. Great take. Yes, one should have the proper utilization of the day. Whenever you have the day, it's full days completely utilized. Then your energy and your happiness comes from that. When it is become night, we all go for sleep, right? Great take, sir. Thank you so much. Our next table master, Deepa. Okay. Your topic, if you had the power, what would you change? If you had the power, what would you change?
When I was young, I used to be asked a question, if you were the Prime Minister of India, what would you change? Now, I would try to answer the same way because it's been one of my pet peeves to remove the smoking from the world, smoking cigarettes. I've seen close hand how my father suffered from the addiction. He, no matter how much I pleaded with him as a child, he couldn't stop it. And I even, in fact, sometimes when I used to visit his office, after school, I was taken to his office. I was sitting in his office for a couple of hours before heading home. I would go to the nearby convenience store and tell the shopkeeper, do not give a cigarette to my dad if he asks one. That's how much I went to. And finally, my dad left smoking at the age of 55. But the damage was done. The damage to his lungs is done. And you see, smoking is such a habit which has repercussions on several parts of our health. Had my father not smoked, his risk for so many diseases would have been lessened. And I believe that when something is harmful to people, it should be banned. I don't know why they say people are going to go underground, and it's not going to help the society. Let's keep it open. But I feel something that's harmful to it, let's shout it out. It's not healthy. It's not right. Let's not allow the sales to be done. If they go underground, it's fine, but let's not do it outright. So if I had the power, I would definitely do all the things that I could to stop smoking, to stop selling of cigarettes in the world. Toastmaster Usha.
Thank you, Deepa. Great take. Our next topic master, Anna Rischler, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. We should never be beaten as a punishment. We should never be beaten as a punishment.
Thank you so much, Table Topics Master. As a child, I was afraid of the rod. Whenever my mom was upset with us and she pointed to the corner where the rod sat, I knew I was in for a spanking. And as we got older, it tended to lose its wear and tear. I wasn't afraid of the rod anymore. Soon, I was afraid of cell phone privileges being taken away, or TV time taken away, or even no dessert for the day. Those challenges, those completions, those punishments were way more effective than being afraid of being spanked for stealing a cookie or lying to your parents. I believe that, especially as a child, when we correspond a spanking to some sort of bad action, there needs to be a punishment that is equal or equivalent to that. So if you get caught lying, then the punishment needs to be taking something away that's correspondent to that. For example, if I'm caught lying to my mom about doing my homework, I now have to do my homework in front of my mom until it's completed before I can do anything else, to show that that is the way to fix it. I do believe that children these days are a little bit more afraid of losing their cell phone, their social media, their technology time, far more than they're afraid of a little plastic rod that was sitting in the corner. But I will tell you that these days, maybe just having that little threat or that knowledge of where it's at might keep us in line in the long run as well. Thank you, Table Topics Master.
That's really great taking. We all of us got a punishment in our childhoods, right? It's due to silly things. When we recollect those things, we really surprise what when we are now our children doing the same mistakes. I'm not giving any punishment. Rather, I'm explaining them why it is not to do. Why not to do that one? To great take. I hope we all done. Or am I left anyone?
I believe everyone is entertained. Now it's your turn. Who would like to give a topic to Toastmaster Usha? Deepa, would you like to give her a topic?
Sure, I'll give her a topic. Just give me a moment. Okay. Your topic, Toastmaster Usha, is the joy of giving. The joy of giving, Toastmaster Usha.
Thank you, Deepa. Joy of giving. Yes. One should have always the habit or the nature of giving to others. It's not necessary giving in form of money or anything. Giving is maybe it's a knowledge or whatever at that moment you can just share. Maybe some of them, if you give a little glass of water, it is really great thing to them to, for their trust. Or if you give a small one bread for one of the hunger person, it's really a great thing for the day for him. Likewise, it's not necessary a kind of money or something, whatever we could do on that particular time or to the needy person, whoever is on the time. It's really a great joy because the moment when they got it and it fulfills their requirement, obviously you get happy for that, right? Because you gave a bread, he's full, he's hungry. Then if you ask another one, definitely they won't ready to take it, right? So when you fill his stomach, so for one full day he can survive with that, then that joy, that happiness which gives you is really amazing. Same way the knowledge sharing. When we know something, sharing with others, by taking that knowledge, if that person or anyone, if they really utilize it in their any of their kind of things, it's really great thing. The same way in this global impromptu, the way we convey our messages and the way we take the topics what we receive, and maybe the topic which I'm giving is something different, which I'm getting the other way around. So which is really I'm getting joy out of that. Okay, this can be turning into that way also, right? These kind of things really great thing. See, always try to give whatever you can at your level and get the joy and happiness and help to others within your limit. That's all I can tell. Thank you so much, Deepa, for the topic.
Oh, you're most welcome. I think we have two more people who joined us, Chandula Fernando and Pratima Razdan.
Okay. So, Chandula, still we have 6 minutes. Fine. Can continue.
I'm also new, Chintan, this side. So, is there a nomination process or how to apply?
No.
Everyone will be entertained. She will be calling everyone whosoever is left. If you are left, by the way, and you can just raise your hand.
Okay. Chandula, your topic. What is the most excited event in your life you attended? What is the most excited event you attended?
Thank you, Usha, for the topic, Table Topics Master and fellow ladies and gentlemen present here today. So the most exciting thing that happened to me very recently happened a year and a half ago when I got selected to the university that I'm attending now. And I was very excited because it was something that I looked forward to for about 2 years of my entire year, the 2 years that I did my A-levels, I was looking forward to getting into the university that I'm in now. So I was very excited. And when I started uni, I felt like I was living my dream. And for a month, I got to do that. But then Corona came and everything went online. So since that day to this day, most of my uni life has been at home, in my room, in front of the laptop screen, just like this. So did I get to live my dream? Not really, because I'm missing out on the best things that I thought. I'm missing out on sitting in a lecture hall and listening to a lecture. I'm missing out on walking those corridors that I have seen from afar, because my sister also went to the same university before me. But I went into our Gavel club, and I got involved in other clubs online, and I met people and I made friends, and I was thinking that even though it wasn't the dream that I initially imagined it to be, it's still a really amazing dream, because I have friends in university. I met a bunch of amazing people who think like me, and we formed friendships even though we had very limited physical meetings. So I think that we have to look for, in life, we have to look for those little things that excite us, and we have to make them exciting for us. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Great, Chandula. You were, the way of you are explaining the topic itself is telling how excited you are in this Global Impromptu Speaks. Great take. Thank you so much. Chintan, I gave you topic or not? Not
Yes.
right? Okay. Your topic, the difference between having a job and a career. Difference between having a job and career.
What a fascinating question. The difference between a job and a career. I have been doing job since 8 years of my life. I have been a professional and I have switched multiple companies in this 10 years. However, if I see it as a career or not, I would say no. Because career is something which you make out of your passion. And what I'm doing today is just to earn bread and butter for my family. So my career option, I would like to be a public speaker, an orator, especially an orator who can transform people, who can give the inspiration and motivation to people, so that the way I have been changed by looking multiple orators, watching them, even Toastmasters. The reason I joined Toastmaster was the speech I saw of Dhananjay Hatriarch, as well as the speech of Mohammad Khatani and Aditya Maheshwaran. So that is a career choice I want to make. But right now, till the point I make to that point, the job is the one which I am going to do. So I would say both are important, because in order to have the chosen career for me, I have to do the job which I have got right now. Over to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Chintan. That's true. To live, to survive, we have to do our job, but maybe the career is completely different what we look for. True, we should always try to get our career as we wish. Is anyone left? Pratima?
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Usha.
Okay. Your topic, who do you admire the most and why? Who do you admire the most and why?
So thank you so much for that topic, Table Topic Master Usha. Talking of admiration, I believe that in life we tend to get influenced, whether it's conscious, active conscious influence or subconscious influence. We tend to get influenced and we tend to admire a lot of people, a lot of situations, a lot of things in our life. Humans at large, I think they tend to draw a lot of inspiration and admiration from self-help books, sometimes from their own past examples and references. And sometimes I believe even from what they have become. Personally, if you ask me, what do I admire the most or who do I admire the most, I would honestly not be able to pinpoint at one particular person. Because I believe that, when you tend to aspire to be like someone, or when you tend to admire people, you really don't know them if they are your role model, in the sense if, let's say, they are a celebrity or they are the sports people. You think you know their journey, but you do not. So I do not have any role model who is a celebrity or a sports person, but I do draw a lot of strength from my friends whose life I actually do know about. So there's this particular friend of mine who has gone through a lot of ups and downs in her life. And I do draw a lot of sense of, inspiration and admiration from her. And it's a kind of a mutual process for us. So whenever we hit our life lows, we tend to kind of confine in each other and draw a lot of admiration and inspiration from each other. So that would be my answer to your question. And thank you so much. And back to you, Table Topic Master Usha.
Great take, Pratima. So with this, we are done with all, sir. Amjad sir, maybe we can.
Thank you so much, Usha. I really appreciate it. Let's put our hands together to thank Usha for managing 222nd session of Global Impromptu Speaking. Appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, as I told you, there are many new faces. I would like to request you all to turn your videos on if you like to. I want to tell you something before I conclude. This session is always being recorded and uploaded on YouTube channel. And if you like to see how did you manage your topic, how did you sound, so you can just go watch the link, click on the link, and of course, at least watch your own session. It will help you improve, because you are the best judge of yourself. You are the best critic of yourself. If I tell you, I may restrict myself and appreciate you for something you have done. But if you watch yourself, this is one of the reasons of my little better improvement, where I was recording my sessions, I was watching myself, I was accepting my face, I was accepting my voice. So you can practice the same thing. Trust me, it will change your life in just few months. Always watch your versions. Record, first of all, before watching, record your speeches. Record them, then watch them. Trust me, you will be surprised for a few sessions. You will see, who is this girl? Who is this man? I don't know this man. How do I sound? So these are the judgmental statements you will pass on you. And you will not be able to watch your entire session which you have recorded. But trust me, that will make you brave, and that will make you a better public speaker. And definitely in future, you will create an impact in your society. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together to thank Toastmaster Usha for managing today's session. And with that power vested in me as a host of this very meeting, I adjourn the meeting. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.